Hello Sagittarius, this is your astrological and card forecast for the week of October 2nd, 2016. And of course, this also applies to you Sagittarius rising and you Sagittarius moon people. Hello to you as well. I just wanted to issue a bit of a quick reminder to you guys. This week we've got a lot of squares going on, and squares tend to create good out of conflict. But that doesn't mean the conflict is there. And, it just means that we've got a great gift coming that's a bit rough around the edges. So be careful not to be too defended or perhaps just a bit too hasty to go to the black and white thinking. Because again, just because something's rough around the edges, that's maybe 5% of the whole package. You don't want to throw away 95% of a good thing because we couldn't deal or cope with the 5% of roughness. This is definitely the kind of energy of this week. It's always a good test to see, again, who's seeing things in color. So, what is going on astrologically this week? Well, we've got Mars, planet of action and passion, in your earned income sector, forming a square to Jupiter in your 11th house of friendships and social networking. And even when there is a pressure square like this, Jupiter still makes it a good thing. And when money and friendships or work and friendships have a square, it's important to pay attention that this is actually an opportunity to form a team. Even though, you may be used to kind of flying under the radar, doing your own thing, being a bit more of a lone wolf, there may be some pressure to join a team or actually get a personal project with a friend or a relative off the ground. A personal project with a friend or relative may require more of a time or financial investment than you feel ready to contribute at this point in time, but it is okay to at least give your commitment during this time. This can also show up as an interesting surprise where a friend or a relative who is not very good at contributing their fair share all of a sudden decides to start trying to pay everyone back. Through gesture, through resources, or just through effort in general, they will. And this is all going to be happening between Tuesday and Wednesday. We also have on Friday, the Sun moving through your 11th house of friendships and social networking, forming its own square to Pluto in your 2nd house. And this is not as happy, friendly, fun, surprisey. But it does look like a friend of yours is going to actually encourage you to kind of have it out with somebody that you have a business arrangement with. Whether it's a coworker, or a neighbor, or a relative, or a roommate, anything along those lines. You're going to be noticing you've got more backup, but they're backing you up, but you're the one who has to step forward with a confrontation you may have been biding your time with. So, what's going on with your cards this week then? Well, we do have the card of Elf-Struck as far as your spiritual advice. And this card, in spite of the fact that it's a very pretty card and a very beautiful girl on it, this card actually talks about the other side of such an interesting look. It's talking about becoming enchanted. It's actually a warning against becoming, I guess you could say, beguiled or gaining tunnel vision because of something that has sort of consumed your focus. And we have to pay attention this week to where we may be developing a tiny bit of tunnel vision, whether it's about, say, our health, or our kids, or our spirituality, or our romantic life, or our money. Where have we developed tunnel vision, and where is that tunnel vision creating a great deal of self-impairing inflexibility? Because that's what the Elf-Struck card can really talk about. It's like saying, hey, look, Sagittarius, be careful this week. Eyes on the prize should not blind you to everything else. But it might, especially if you let this take over. So, take off the goggles for a minute and pay attention to the fact that you might be only focusing on one aspect of a huge picture. Let's let ourselves be more multifaceted this week because, again, eyes on the prize shouldn't blind us to everything else. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we have the Nine of Cups inverted. And this is actually a good card, even though it's inverted. They exist. And with the Nine of Cups inverted, usually we see an opportunity to, again, get money that is owed to us though we're probably not happy about talking to the person who owes us the money. This can also show up where a great opportunity, professionally or financially, finally arrives, albeit it may be too early or too late. Because the Nine of Cups inverted is kind of saying we're getting our wish, and our wish is being granted. It is still a yes card, but it is coming its own way, or it could be coming in a very literal way as you asked for it. And if you are not somebody who speaks, maybe you speak with a lot of impressionistic ways, maybe we tend to not try to be too specific, because some people do. I've got relatives who are like, no, sometimes it's good to leave things open. Be careful when you get the Nine of Cups inverted and leaving things too open. I always tell people about, the genie in the bottle. You get the wish as you asked for it, not just what you asked for. And so we have great news, we've got wonderful news, but there may be some amusing discombobulation going on when that money or that opportunity shows up exactly how you asked for it at a weird time, and perhaps a bit too literally. For your communications with air, when it comes to friends and relatives and the others in your life, we've got the Nine of Swords inverted. And this card can talk a little bit about a need to pay attention to where a friend or a relative is starting to act out over nothing and take a few things way too personally. And this probably is, I guess you could say, sort of a straw tiger. This is, this person's freaking out about this, so they don't have to look at that. And the Nine of Swords inverted is saying that this could be a situation kind of like a cry for help that you probably should answer. The Nine of Swords inverted can indicate here that there might be some people stressing out and turning, turning anthills into mountains this week in your friendship circle, because again, it's sort of like a convenient way to start a dialogue that should just be started anyway. And this whole week is all about not trying to avoid those kinds of necessary dialogues, but pay attention to when people might be trying to consume a lot of your time because they're trying to talk about something else instead of being direct. It's okay to ask people to stop beating around the bush. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Four of Pentacles upright. Be so careful, Sagittarius, not to close yourself off too much and make yourself inaccessible this week, because the Four of Pentacles is saying your challenge is, you might be shutting too many doors or shutting too many people down in too short a span of time. If you get frustrated, if you feel like people are kind of like draining, I understand. It's okay to assert those boundaries and redraw those boundaries, but making yourself completely inaccessible is not the answer. And honestly, when people are asking you to open up and share your fair share, don't be afraid to share your fair share. Even if you think, well, I don't want to say it because people will think I'm the bad guy, or I don't want to say it because it might sound too harsh, you do need to actually be able to open up and share it, not wait for somebody else to say it for you. Because one of the things that can happen here, especially when you get the Nine of Swords inverted and the Four of Cups upright together, is that sometimes people aren't really coming to you for constructive answers. It's almost like they're just coming for the energy. It's like they just want the energy of that company, which can be draining unless we start getting people to really do something constructive with that time. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Nine of Pentacles inverted. And this card is really bright because of the light, but this card can talk a little bit about needing to pay attention to where a crush or a partner is perhaps working a little bit too hard to either A, catch up to you, or B, get themselves get a little too involved in what you have going on in your own space. Okay, which, that just usually means that they want to spend time with you. That's fine, but usually the Nine of Pentacles inverted can show up where there might be some codependent behavior going on. Maybe you like to have a night where it's like just you being alone with your own self, recharge your batteries, or it's just you and your friends. And you might notice your partner is kind of trying to be there every second of every day, that kind of thing this week. Or you might be feeling like it's kind of hard to detach a little bit. Or vice versa, if your partner is trying to get that time, you better not be the one going, no. you know, and you know, you gotta let them actually have that space, because there seems to be, with the Nine of Pentacles inverted here, some kind of issue with breathing room that's going to need to be addressed between you and your sweetheart this week. It won't be hard to do. I think that sometimes we can also see a problem where you and your partner may be trying to solve each other's problems for each other, when you really just need to be rooting for each other. You don't want to step in, you know, you don't slay their dragon, they don't slay your dragon. Those are your guys' experience points, all right? But you can always cheer and always give them moral support, and, you know, throw a buff in there every once in a while if you want. Okay, this video has already gotten a little bit nerdy, so I am going to leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed this video, Sagittarius. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.